The calendar of economic events in the UK is practically empty. There are a few economic reports, but none of them are labelled as important. Overall, I agree with other analysts and economists. The final business activity indices for August are unlikely to be of much interest to the market. Apart from these, perhaps only the report on retail sales volume changes for July, which will be released on Friday, stands out. On Friday, however, the market's attention will be focused on the US labour market and unemployment data. Therefore, it is already clear that the amplitude and direction of the British pound's movement next week will depend on the US dollar. We will discuss US events separately. In this review, let's once again analyse possible wave scenarios. The pound has built a convincing three-wave downward structure within a bullish trend segment. Even if the overall wave count is wrong, we have seen a three-wave correction. Therefore, a new impulsive trend segment has begun. If this is indeed the case, by the end of its formation, the pound's quotes will be above the 1.40 level. The first two waves of the new trend segment are obvious. We saw good growth followed by a pullback, indicating waves 1 and 2 within wave 5. Based on all of the above, the wave pattern suggests only an increase for the instrument. However, I should remind you that a strong news backdrop could break the wave structure. If US reports are strong, there will be higher demand for the dollar, and GB PUST as well as US will head lower, which would, at a minimum, complicate the anticipated wave 2 within 5. Ideally, this scenario should be avoided, but it remains a possibility. Theoretically, even the entire wave 4 could become more extended and complex BCDE. In that case, the pound could retreat to the 1.30 area. Therefore, US reports must not significantly exceed market expectations. US wave picture. Based on my US analysis, I conclude that the instrument continues to form a bullish trend segment. The wave pattern remains entirely dependent on news flow linked to Donald Trump's decisions in US foreign policy. The trend segment's targets may extend all the way to the 1.25 level. Therefore, I continue to consider buying with targets around 1.1875, which corresponds to 161.8 on Fibonacci and above. I assume wave 4 construction is complete. Accordingly, now remains a good time for buying. GB PUST wave picture. The wave pattern in GB PUST remains unchanged. We are dealing with a bullish, impulsive segment of the trend. With Donald Trump, markets could face many more shocks and reversals that might seriously affect the wave picture, but for now, the main scenario remains intact. The bullish trend segment now targets the 1.4017 area. At present, I believe the corrective wave 4 is complete. Wave 2 and 5 may also be done. Accordingly, I recommend buying with a target of 1.4017. Main principles of my analysis: wave structures should be simple and clear. Complex structures are hard to trade and often change. If you aren't confident in what's happening in the market, it's better to stay out. There will never be 100% certainty about price direction. Don't forget protective stop-loss orders. Wave analysis can be combined with other types of analysis and trading strategies. The material has been provided by Robot FX Robots.